Thanks for attending. Let me get this thing right. All the professional courtesies, the recognition of folks. I can't, on behalf of Manpower and Reserve Affairs, on behalf of the Wounded Warrior Regiment, I can't begin to thank you enough for making the time to come out. Maybe you heard it, maybe you don't completely understand it. You are at an historic event. A historic event. The first time ever, we have given out awards for Manpower and Reserve Affairs, never like this, right? So at my table, there was a question, who's the rowdiest crowd, right? Who's the rowdiest crowd? You have an opportunity to set a standard, right? All right. I'm just calling it out, right? And I work with a number of you or have worked with a number of you in the past. I know what you're capable of. Right? Just don't throw anything like a Harry Styles concert and anything, and this will all work out just fine. All right? Just work with me. To the Association Foundation, General Trody, and everybody you mentioned earlier, I'll try not to mention all the names. Thank you. Thank you. He is exactly right. This is a long time coming, and he had me at, would you be interested? And off we ran, and here we are, like 350 folks strong. With a waiting list for others that wanted to come. So get your tickets early for next year because you don't want to be left out. I just want to say thanks to everybody, Leanne, the whole team, everybody that makes this possible for event after event. It means more than you know. That's really all I want to say about it, so thanks. General Trody recognized the Marine Corps base Quantico team, Mike Brooks, Starr, the entire crew. Like, you think the color guard and band just show up, but they don't. And you think they're just that good, and they are because they work at it. And I just want to, as a tenant of Marine Corps Base Quantico, one of many who gets endless amounts of support from the Marine Corps Base, I want to say thank you in front of everybody else for what you do for all of us. Thanks. To the leaders and the Marines and the industry partners and everybody that's here to support tonight, I was joking a little bit about a first ever, but thanks for coming out and supporting this because it really is a big deal. Earlier this evening, General Trody recognized, earlier this evening we recognized the Wounded Warrior Leadership Awards. You saw them all stand up. I'm going to tell you something. When this thing's over, if you haven't met these folks yet, ask them their story. And make sure you still got your napkin in your hand because it's going to bring, this young lady right here, that story will bring tears to your eyes. That's what I'm going to tell you. She's a caregiver until the care ended. And it only ended within the last year. And that story will bring tears to your eyes. It's a special crew, and it's important that we recognize them all tonight. So to all those Wounded Warrior leaders out there, thank you, and congratulations once again. And no matter where you live, try to find a district injured support coordinator, a DISC. Those folks are at the edge of our wounded, ill, and injured care, and they are special. First Sergeant has a story. When you track him down, I saw his hand earlier, he's got a story he can tell you. He's saving lives, like literally saving lives. A Marine who is going to otherwise be homeless, his singular actions prevented homelessness and a whole bunch of other things that come with that. So thanks to you and the entire team. Here's the thing about tonight, right? And we got a little word game going on at our table. I hope you have one too. It'll make the night rowdier. They wanted to make force design the word. Force design is a word. I'll use it a couple times. My partners in crime here from TCOM and CD&I and PNR and everybody else, they use that a lot more than we do because our responsibility in Manpower and Reserve Affairs is on talent management 2030. Right? That's the word. If you didn't pick up on it, start the game now. On talent management 2030. Here's the deal. Nowhere in the Marine Corps do we fight from a single Marine fighting hole, right? It's part of our principle. It's not what we do. There must always be more than one. And so for everything that goes into the equipment and the units and the future fighting capability of this organization, it all hinges on the people. 100% hinges on the people, and that is why this gathering tonight, where we have the administrators, the manpower, the personnel, everyone who contributes to taking care of the people, why this is so important and such a long time coming. Because you can't find, which is why I know how rowdy they can be, you can't find a more dedicated, passionate crew about what they do. Right? When you get right down to it, nobody really complains when they're getting paid, or when their mail shows up in time, or when all their entitlements are right, and when their PCS orders are funded and their move goes. Nobody, you rarely hear about that, but somebody in this community made all that happen. Now, let it go wrong once, and you won't stop hearing from them until it's been fixed, right? Everybody been there? Do I need to start telling S1 stories in battalions and squadrons about things that have gone wrong? Do I need to call out all of you that still can't file your own defense travel system voucher without the help of somebody in this room? I mean, I'll start asking for a show of hands here in a minute, if that's what it takes. So what's the theme? If you look, Joe Trody pointed out, if you look in every movie star, like Eric Smith, has a stunt double. Take a look at the photo. I mean, we could be interchangeable, right? Somebody's got to do the hard stuff, right? Somebody's got to swing from the ropes and jump over the buildings and so that's why he asked me to stand in tonight. Because, fear it can be a factor. No, in all honesty, keep his family in your thoughts and prayers. His daughter-in-law's father passed away, and the funeral's tomorrow. And so that's the only reason why he's not here. I want to give you a sense of how hard I worked to get him here, though. This is what I said. And those of you that recognize the recruiting ribbon, you'll appreciate where these skills came from. Hey, ACMAC, check it out. Can you imagine a better week? Imagine receiving the flag from the 38th Commandant, handing it over to the Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps, heading down to Fort Belvoir for 2 days of executive offsite, and then coming to the first ever Manpower and Reserve Affairs Awards dinner and handing out awards to the most dedicated, motivated folks. Before I got done, he said, "I'm there." And here we are. Now you got to listen to me for a few minutes. The thing about it is everything I mentioned earlier: pay and entitlements, awards, fitness reports, all the things that matter to a person and to their career. And you don't have to be in the Marine Corps. You don't have to be in the military for that stuff to matter. Our industry partners have this, right, in their human resource world. And when it works well, it works really, really well. But you're constantly trying to refine it, trying to make it better, trying to leverage technology. That is what we are doing in Talent Management 2030. That's the essence of it. So, if you're in industry today, you wonder, wow, I wonder how we could contribute to this. Know that we are undertaking a pace of change that is only inhibited by our imagination and our ability to connect with the way people in industry are doing it today, frankly. And we have been, for those of you that were in our enterprise before, that have worked in the Marsh Center, it is a fascinating place right now. It's an exciting place. It's a place where change is happening quickly. And it is a place where if you worked there a few years ago and you come back, you're like, whoa, wait a minute. And I'll describe one or two of these things to you. But what is going on here? What are we doing? And who is affecting that change? The folks that are going to get these awards here in a few minutes. That they are representative of the entire enterprise of folks that handle personnel and administration and care about people and families. That's who we're here to recognize tonight. And I know that's why you're here. In the end, it is a no-fail mission. Like, there is no warfighting capability if we don't have the people to do it. And if the people that do it aren't happy about doing it, then they don't stick around and keep going. And we already know that this business, we're not in it for the pay. Okay? When we're out of the pay, we'll come work for you. But for the time being, it is commonly referred to amongst us as an irrational call to service, right? The desire to contribute in a way that defies explanation, other than the love that is unique between Marines and Marine families. That's essentially what it falls down to. the Marine and the Marine family. So for all my administrator, personnelists, all of you that represent the community, I ask you to keep that in mind. Keep that in mind when you're at your desk and you'd rather be in the field, or you're in the field and you'd rather be at your desk. When you're tired and redoing a roster for the I don't know how many time, wondering if anybody actually cares about whether the roster gets done, right? It is, after all, this field that keeps track of, if I were to connect the two parts tonight, when someone's ill or injured, who tracks them from point of illness or injury, and who ensures that they get all the way home and are taken care of, and all the stuff that they would have taken care of themselves continue to operate in support of the family that is now focused mostly on caregiving, right? As the caregiver of the year can attest. So it's a no-fail mission with a very important purpose. Talent management. The thing, a couple of words about talent management. What is it? First of all, it's a very vogue term. Talent and management are used all over industry today. What does the Marine Corps mean by talent management? Here's it in my words, borrowed from a few folks in this room over time. A, the purposeful acknowledgement and recognition of the innate abilities, aptitudes, and interests of young men and women before they join the Marine Corps. What is it you're interested in the first place? Because if you're interested in one thing and we ask you to do another, like the relationship doesn't start off real well. And then we make the purposeful investment in those interests in order to cultivate a professional level of expertise and experience that we can then harvest to our benefit. What benefit? The maximum capability for us to increase our warfighting capability and lethality, period. Drop mic. That's it. That's it when you get right down to what is talent management. And there's a whole lot in there that the folks in this room can unpack for you that we're still working on. There's parts and pieces of that we're better at than others. But let me give you an idea of why the administrative acumen is so important. In the last, 60 days? I think June the 1st was when we introduced the Small Unit Leader Initiative, right? Where do talent management ideas come from in the first place? The Fleet Marine Force. Mostly. What have we done in the Marsh Center and in our organization? We have been much more deliberate and purposeful about listening to the fantastic ideas of Marines who, when you give them a minute, say, "Hey, sir, why do we still do that?" What do you mean? Well, that's like stupid. I can think of like three other ways. I'll give you an example. Not from a youngest Marine, but from a Master Sergeant who said, "Sir, I don't understand why my reenlistment package has like 35 pieces of paper and takes so long to process. When I recently bought a home, I never touched a piece of paper, and I used DocuSign to sign for my house." To which my response was, "Damn, you're right." And so we are working on that. We are working on exactly that. So what's the other aspect of talent management? Is the recognition of talent and potential in the first place, which is where everybody in this room is so pivotal to how we do it. And here's what we know about Marines today. Here's what we know about young people today, but I'll apply it to Marines. The decision about whether or not you want to continue in an organization hinges on your interpretation of whether or not you feel valued, and how you know the organization expresses your value, whether you feel as if you belong, and how the organization recognizes and provides you feedback that you belong, and whether or not they are making a purposeful investment in you. And young men and women today tell us that their mind begins to take a course towards, should I stay or should I go now, for those of you that get the reference, in the first 90 days. The first 90 days. And so from a talent management perspective, what is our traditional model? Our traditional model was sign a contract, join the Corps, 4 years. In year 3, we'll have a discussion with you about what you might do next and whether or not you're going to have an opportunity. How have we changed that? We're having those conversations in year 1. Let's have a conversation about you, young lady, and what I see in you. You know what I see in you? I see him, the leader of this organization. Now, it's going to take a little bit of experience. It's going to take a purposeful investment in you. But if you'll stick with us, I promise you, we see that potential. And so listening to Marines, they came up with something that said, hey, we have a need for sergeants in the Marine Corps. And we had a set of requirements for what it took to become a sergeant. And those requirements, all valid, necessary, and needed, were not meeting the inventory needs of the service. So we said to Marines, well, how would you fix it? Well, I'll tell you what I do, sir. I'm a corporal and I'm already doing the job. So you already have the confidence for me to be a sergeant, but I don't get the recognition, nor do I get the pay of a sergeant. Well, what would the criteria be for being one? Well, if my chain of command has the confidence in me to be a sergeant in the first place, and I have the prerequisites, and this is where this audience becomes very, very relevant, like the JPES score, the Joint Enlisted Performance Evaluation System score, which has to be accurate, validated, and captured in order for someone to be promoted. And I have made a commitment to continuing to serve, i.e. I have re-enlisted. I've reached 36 months time in service, and I've already said I'm re-enlisting, let's go. Why don't you make me a sergeant? Yeah, why don't we? So 45 days ago, we started, and off we go. And we're running into new sergeants left and right. Sergeant Major and I are running into new sergeants left and right. Like, what do you think of the program? It's awesome. Why is it awesome? Because I'm finally being recognized for who I am and what I do. And we got, like, no lie here, we got 11 other of these going on concurrently. What's the point? The point is the administrative accuracy, the capturing of, where does that score, I'll pick one aspect of it, where does the Joint Enlisted Performance Evaluation System score come from? It comes from the accuracy of the folks who are invested in personnel, administration, and the manpower of this organization. And that's why we're going to recognize them here in just a few minutes. On this day in history, to borrow from a mentor of mine, right? Take a look. I could have gotten up here and told a couple jokes, but the punchline's always not appropriate for the audience, and I find myself in more trouble than I came into the night with. So on this day in history, actually earlier this week, 2 days ago, in 1798, President John Adams signed an act that established the Marine Corps and designated the first commandant, William Ward Burroughs, for those of you that know the Marine Corps history. And William Ward Burroughs went back to Philadelphia, where was still the capital of the nation. And what did he do? Set up his headquarters. Who do you think established that headquarters? Folks like who we're going to recognize tonight. They had to put the processes in place. They had to make sure the accuracy. They had to establish the standards in the first place that would then go on to become what we know as today's Marine Corps, and the rest is history. Right? And so the significance of the night, the significance of these awards, before they even come up here, besides Eric Smith's stunt double, you can take a look at the folks in here, and you're going to hear about what they've done in order to earn the recognition and the respect of the entire community. But I hope you can tell, absolutely excited for our entire community tonight, for the entirety of Manpower and Reserve Affairs, for all of you that support us, all of you that are part of us, and all of you in uniform are the beneficiaries of the work we do or don't do. Thank you for your continued support, your patience, your ideas. Keep them coming. We will try anything and everything in some form or fashion if we can discern that it is going to contribute to the improvement, the better processing, administration, and management of our people. Because, as I opened up with, it is a no-fail mission. So, the realities of investment in our talent is the age of Dan Daly at the time of his great awards. Anybody want to take a guess? 27. The age of John Basilone on Guadalcanal at the time of his accolades? 26. The age of Harvey Barnum when he earned his Medal of Honor in Vietnam? 25. So, for the Marines in the crowd, what am I asking of you? You want to make a change? Stick around. Make the change. We don't peak at 19 and 20. It's much later in life. Ask a couple of the folks in the room, if they've hit their peak yet. I wouldn't believe some of the really General Trody. I wouldn't take his answer to that question. But my point is, it is a time of change. Our enlistment models, our service models, our manpower planning models, the folks in the room that are doing that hard work are here with you tonight. And so you can ask them about where the opportunities are and where they're going. I was asked a question tonight, what do I think the future may look like? I think when I go have an opportunity to talk to every TBS class at the basic school, the new lieutenants, and it's conveniently situated about 2 weeks to 10 days before they get their original occupational specialty, and they are stressed out. And they're stressed out that I'm there because they know that it's our enterprise that holds the keys to their future in their hands, and they just want to get what they want to get. And my message to them is very dissatisfying. It is, don't worry about it, which is not what I thought when I was sitting in their shoes. Nobody in this room thought that when they were sitting in their shoes. But the reality is, right, that the folks in this room, there are MOSs today, military occupational specialists today, that did not exist 4 years ago. And 4 years from now, there will be more occupational specialties that do not exist today. I was commenting about one tonight. I firmly believe in the next several years, we will have a robotics MOS. We will amalgamate all the things that are unmanned systems that are in every communities, and we will have a robotics MOS. We didn't have information a mere 4 years ago, and now we do. And so things are changing very, very quickly. Marines are changing with them, and it is our task, the folks that have to take care of the people of the Marine Corps, it is our task to change at pace or faster where and when we can. And so with your help, with your support, with the performance of folks like you're going to see here in just a moment, we are absolutely going to continue to do that because we're committed to doing it, and they are doing it right now at installation personnel administration centers. We're going to recognize one of them in a moment, inside of analyst programs, at the NCO, staff NCO officer level, chief warrant officer level. That's where the difference is being made in the lives of Marines, and that's really where it fundamentally matters. So thanks everybody for being here tonight, and let's get the awardees up here and do what we came here to do in the first place. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Manpower and Reserve Affairs Administrative Awards Ceremony. It is with sincere pleasure tonight that we get to recognize the superb performance of the individuals of our Marine Corps administrative community. On stage is Lieutenant General Glenn and Lieutenant General Sharadi, who will present this year's recipients their awards. And Sergeant Major Rodriguez.
Ben's a thrust in the morning.
I am Ron Burgundy, and I read what's on the teleprompter. Oh. Our first award will be the Civilian Administrator of the Year. Lisa McSherry of Pearl Insurance, which sponsors this award, will now join us on stage. Founded in 1954, Pearl Insurance developed one of the first life and health insurance programs specifically designed for affinity associations. The company is currently one of the premier sales and marketing administrators and providing exceptional customer service to millions of members in affinity associations throughout the world. The Civilian Administrator of the Year Award is presented to a GS Civilian Marine in the grades of GS4 to GS8 for excellence and exemplifies outstanding professionalism and leadership within the administrative community. The recipient of the Civilian Administrator of the Year is Mrs. Yvetta D. Moses from Marine Forces Reserve Installation Personnel Administration Center, New Orleans, Louisiana. Mr. Brennett Ford from Reserve Affairs will receive her award on her behalf. Ms. Yvetta Moses demonstrated superior understanding of manpower and personnel administration requirements for both the United States Marine Corps and the Department of the Navy's administrative communities by providing the best possible support to over 60,000 individual Marines, their family members, and the civilian workforce across the individual ready reserves, select Marine Corps reserves, and active reserves. In providing exemplary support, she individually processed hundreds of electronic personnel administration requests, nearly 1,800 transactions, and certified over 187 unit diaries with a 99% acceptance rate. Her efforts reflected credit upon her and were in keeping with the highest traditions of the Marine Corps and the United States Naval Service. Our next award is the Marine Corps Civilian Administrative Analysis of the Year. Mr. Michael Parker of Salesforce, which sponsors this award, will join us on stage. Salesforce Incorporated is an American cloud-based software company which provides customer relation management software and applications focused on sales, customer service, marketing automation, and e-commerce, analytics, and application development. The Civilian Analyst of the Year Award is presented to a GS Civilian Marine in the grades of GS9 to GS12 for excellence and exemplifies outstanding professionalism and leadership within the administrative community. The recipient of the Marine Corps Civilian Administrative Analysis of the Year is Mr. Scott Wayman from Wounded Warrior Battalion East. Mr. Scott Wayman demonstrated superior understanding of manpower and personnel administration requirements for both the United States Marine Corps and the Department of the Navy's administrative communities by serving as the Deputy Adjutant at Wounded Warrior Battalion East, and as such helps wounded, ill, and injured Marines and their families navigate the Traumatic Service Members Group life insurance claims process, their transition from service, the medical evaluation board process for retention waivers, and invitational travel orders for families to join their Marines. Additionally, his analysis of the suicide bombing in Kabul, Afghanistan on August 26, 2021, response for casualty processes have resulted in process improvements, ensuring that Wounded Warrior Battalion East can immediately surge support to Marines and their families when they need it most. His efforts reflected credit upon him and were in keeping with the highest traditions of the Marine Corps and the United States Naval Service. I was a patient there once, 10 years ago, and they really do take care of Marines. Our next award is the Administration Marine of the Year. Tim Aldridge from MetroStar, which sponsors this award, will now join us on stage. MetroStar has a rich two-decade legacy of building the best and brightest teams for our mission. Our mission is to serve and transform how people, agencies, and tech enthusiasts connect in the digital age. The fusion of our digital services and solutions means faster and tailored responses for every mission. The Administrative Marine of the Year Award is presented to a Marine in the ranks of private through Lance Corporal for excellence and exemplifies outstanding professionalism and leadership within the administrative communities. The Administrative Marine of the Year is Corporal Bethany Bowman from Marine Fighter Attack Squadron 242. Corporal Bowman demonstrated superior understanding of manpower and personnel administrative requirements for both the United States Marine Corps and the Department of the Navy's administrative communities by her being hand-selected by the 1st Marine Aviation Wing Information Management Officer and SharePoint Development Team as a Lance Corporal to help develop and test a new electronics correspondence routing system that will be implemented later this year across 1st Marine Aviation Wing. As part of Exercise Pitch Black 22 in Tyndale, Australia, and in preparing the detachment for the exercise and during the deployment, Corporal Bowman helped prepare and process over $120,000 in defense travel system obligations for over 100 Marines and sailors across 5 different units attached to Marine Aircraft Group 12, and was the sole administrative support for Marine Fighter Attack Squadron 242. Her efforts reflected credit upon her and were keeping with the highest traditions of the Marine Corps and United States Naval Service. Our next award will be the Administration Non-Commissioned Officer of the Year. Phil Henning from the Hartford, which sponsors this award, will now join us on stage. For more than 211 years, the Hartford has provided people and businesses with the support and protection they need to pursue their unique ambitions, seize opportunity, and prevail through unexpected challenges. The Administration Non-Commissioned Officer of the Year Award is presented to a Marine in the ranks of Corporal and Sergeant for excellence and exemplifies outstanding professionalism and leadership within the administrative community. The recipient of the Administration Non-Commissioned Officer of the Year is Sergeant Alvin Figueroa, Marine Fighter Attack Squadron 312. Sergeant Alvin Figueroa demonstrated superior understanding of manpower and personnel administration requirements for both the United States Marine Corps and the Department of the Navy's administrative communities by providing the best possible support to over 200 Marines and sailors before and during the bilateral training exercise Cold Response in Norway, ensuring they were administratively ready. And then when Marine Fighter Attack Squadron 312 was extended to support Task Force Baltic Watchtower in response to the emerging conflict in Ukraine, Sergeant Figueroa researched and accomplished all administrative requirements needed to leave Norway and enter Poland, to include NATO orders, correct entitlements reporting, personnel status reporting and accountability, country clearances, as well as defense travel system authorizations for the entire squadron, to include an additional attached personnel from Marine Wing Support Squadron 272, Marine Air Control Squadron 2, and elements of the 2nd Marine Aviation Wing headquarters. His efforts reflected credit upon him and were keeping in the highest traditions of the Marine Corps and the United States Naval Services. On stage with him is his father, Chief Officer 5 Figueroa. Our next award will be the Administrative Staff Non-Commissioned Officer of the Year. Sergeant Major Ron Green, 18th Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps from 1st Command, which sponsors this award, will now join us on stage. With a vision of lifelong financial security for our nation's military families, 1st Command has been the financial coach for those who serve for over 60 years. The Administrative Staff Non-Commissioned Officer of the Year Award is presented to a Marine in the ranks of Staff Sergeant and Gunnery Sergeant for excellence and exemplifies outstanding professionalism and leadership within the administrative community. The recipient of the Administration Staff Non-Commissioned Officer of the Year is Staff Sergeant Marianne Joseph, 3rd Marine Division, G1. Staff Sergeant Joseph demonstrated superior understanding of manpower and personnel administration requirements for both the United States Navy and the United States Marine Corps administrative communities by deploying after only receiving a 48-hour notification for a 6-month deployment in support of a named operation. While deployed, and in addition to her daily responsibilities at 3rd Marine Expeditionary Force Korean Logistics Detachment Staff Non-Commissioned Officer in Charge, while operating independently of Marine Forces Korea, Staff Sergeant Joseph processed 19 table of organization and equipment change requests and personally identified and oversaw correcting 261 critical security clearance shortfalls, resulting in the recommendation and changes of over 500 billet identification codes in 3rd Marine Division, generating the structural requirements forming the new Marine Littoral Regiment and 12th Marine Regiment for the division to operate as a stand-in force in direct support of Force Design 2030. Her efforts reflected credit upon her and were in keeping with the highest traditions of the Marine Corps and the United States Naval Service. Our next award will be the Personnel Officer of the Year. Kevin Mulligan of Google, which sponsors this award, will now join us on stage. Google Cloud supports the critical mission of our military and national security personnel around the world by providing them with the most secure, reliable, and innovative cloud solutions. The Personnel Officer of the Year award is presented to a Marine in the ranks of Warrant Officer through Chief Warrant Officer 3 for excellence and exemplifies outstanding professionalism and leadership within the administrative communities. The recipient of the Personnel Officer of the Year award is Chief Warrant Officer 3 Randall L. Salinas from Marine Corps Recruit Depot, San Diego, Installation Personnel Administration Center. Chief Warrant Officer Salinas demonstrated superior understanding of manpower and personnel administration requirements for both the United States Marine Corps and the Department of the Navy's administrative communities by serving as the officer in charge of both permanent personnel administrative branch and recruit administration branch aboard Marine Corps Recruit Depot, San Diego, supervising 17 Marines and 36 civilians, leading them to perform at the uppermost levels and contributing to a noteworthy analysis and the highest effectiveness rating in fiscal year 2022 for a Marine Corps Administrative Analysis Team inspection. Chief Warrant Officer Salinas oversaw over 729,061 unit diary transactions, 15,824 new join accessions, 6,002 transfers, 1,807 discharges, 10,575 electronic personnel administration requests. Personnel officers writ large recognized Chief Warrant Officer Salinas as a subject matter expert, and he was instrumental in the most recent updates to the Personnel Officers Course program of instruction. His efforts reflected credit upon him and were in keeping with the highest traditions of the Marine Corps and the United States Naval Service. Our next award will be the Manpower Officer of the Year. Kim Myers of KPMG, which sponsors this award, will now join us on stage. KPMG has been providing advisory services and industry insight to government clients for over 100 years, helping organizations address their most complex challenges and capitalize on the most significant opportunities. The Manpower Officer of the Year award is presented to a Marine in the ranks of second lieutenant through captain for excellence and exemplifies outstanding professionalism and leadership within the administrative community. The recipient of the Manpower Officer of the Year is Captain Margot Smutnik from the Marine Corps' 15th Marine Expeditionary Unit's Headquarters Element. Captain Schmutnik demonstrated superior understanding of manpower and personnel administration requirements for both the United States Marine Corps and the Department of the Navy's administrative communities by serving as the 15th Marine Expeditionary Unit Adjutant. Additionally, she was hand-selected to serve as the Executive Officer of Troops for the USS Portland during the Los Angeles Fleet Week 2022. Beyond her exemplary work as a staff officer and leader, she operationalized manpower data for the Marine Expeditionary Unit Commander, providing real-time data visual information which facilitated proactive decision-making. Her work led to an information paper on manning, training, and equipping the Marine Expeditionary Units during decomposite, which the 1st Marine Expeditionary Force Commanding General used to make recommendations to manpower management, enlisted affairs, and officer affairs for the alignment of staffing assignments with the new 36-month Marine Expeditionary Unit schedule. Her efforts reflected credit upon her and were in keeping in the highest traditions of the Marine Corps and the United States Naval Service. Our next award will be the Personnel Administration Center of the Year. Yazan Sadiq of United Services Automobile Association, which sponsors this award, will now join us on stage. USAA is dedicated to serving military members and their families through insurance and by offering more benefits than any other major financial provider. The Personnel Administration Center of the Year Award is presented to a Personnel Administration Center for excellence and exemplifies outstanding performance within the administrative community. The recipient of the Personnel Administration Center of the Year is Marine Corps Recruit Depot and Western Recruiting Region Installation Personnel Administration Center, San Diego. Accepting the award is the IPAC Director, Chief Warrant Officer 4, Jimmy Romero. Marine Corps Recruit Depot and Western Recruiting Region Installation Personnel Administration Center demonstrated superior understanding of manpower and personnel administration requirements for both the United States Marine Corps and Department of the Navy's administrative communities by their superior administrative support to over 1,350 permanent personnel and 14,536 recruits, while achieving the highest Marine Corps administrative analysis team inspection results in the past 3 years with an effectiveness rating of 94.55%. The 28 Marines and 56 civilians of Marine Corps Recruit Depot and Western Recruiting Region Installation Personnel Administration Center's combined effort reflected credit upon the command and were in keeping the highest traditions of the Marine Corps and the United States Naval Service. Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant General Sharadi.
So, ladies and gentlemen, just a round of applause for Captain Gordon. You're hired as my replacement. You'll do much better. Ladies and gentlemen, because General Glenn has indicated that I've peaked for the evening at my advanced age of 60, we have to all go to hit the rack now, I guess. I don't know what it is about this peaking thing, but truly, Jim, thank you so much for those words and that motivation behind the words and the true spirit of talent management. Once again, talent management. Yeah, thank you. So I just wanted to make sure, because she's the one that called us on it, so we're making her drink every time. But thank you so much for that and for being here tonight. And to all the awardees, again, congratulations for all your efforts and all the families who've traveled from far distances for being here tonight. Thank you for that. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish you all a good evening, safe travels, and Semper Fidelis.